Hello. Today we have a beautiful passage from Matthew to look at. And one of the key verses within this passage is one of my favourites. Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy burdened, and I will give you rest. We're really going to be focusing on that verse in quite a lot of detail in this little talk. And I think by the end of it, you might know it off by heart. The verse is, come to me, all you who are weary and heavy burdened, and I will give you rest. That's Matthew 11, verse 28. Now, it sounds like a wonderful invitation, doesn't it? Sometimes we're carrying so much, though, it feels like that we never really, truly rest. Did you know some animals don't fully go to sleep? Bats are one of these. What they will do is they will close one eye and shut down half of their brain, but the other eye stays open, the other half of their brain alert, so that they can look around for any predators. Ducks do this as well, and so do dolphins, and also chickens, apparently. Chickens do this too. So all of these creatures can never completely rest, as they never trust that they are totally safe. So they have to keep one eye open to look out for predators and other dangers. So can we trust God enough to come to him and fully rest? And what is he really offering us? So let's have a look at this beautiful verse in a little bit more detail and find out. So the first word we have is come. It's an invitation, isn't it? Come, you're welcome. This is an invitation from God, and it's said even more clearly in the Song of Songs as part of today's additional readings that we'll hear about later. Arise, my dearest, my fair one, come with me. This is the call of one who loves us and cares deeply for us. God is calling us, come. Come to me. Now there's a thought, isn't it? Who do we turn to when we're feeling anxious or troubled? Is it, well, if all else fails, then I'll pray? Or can we make prayer our first resort rather than our last resort? See, God is calling. He says, come to me. Come to me. Come to me all. There you go. So this is an invitation for everybody. No one is excluded. Come to me all. Go to the next one. Come to me all you. So equally, it's a personal invitation. It's an invitation for you, and it's an invitation for me. Come to me all you who are weary. All you who are weary. Do you know, at times I think we all feel exhausted. And it could be that we are going through a really difficult and challenging part of our lives. Or it could be a general world weariness. And at the moment, the situation we're in with this gradual easing of lockdown, where we're a little bit unsure what we can do, what we can't do, and it seems to change from day to day, hour to hour even sometimes, it can be a wearing time. We start to wonder, will our lives ever go back to be what they were before coronavirus? Who knows? It's okay to admit to God that we are weary, that we are weary, and that we are in need of his help, and we need his strength to sustain us. In fact, admitting it to both ourselves and to God can make us open to receive what God has to offer. Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy burdened. Heavy burdened. Do you know, we can often feel really weighed down with anxieties. We sometimes talk about carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders. God is saying, bring that burden to me. Nothing is too big or too small to bring to God. Is there a burden that you're carrying at the moment that you would like to lay down and give to God today? There'll be more time to think about that later during our time of prayer. God is inviting us to come to him, and he's saying he will take our burdens from us. So, come to me, all you who are weary and heavy burdened, and I will give you. I will give you. Notice God is offering a gift here. It's not something we have to earn. It's not something we deserve. It is a gift. So what is this gift? What is this gift? Of course, it's rest. Rest, the thing that we all crave at times. Perfect rest. Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy burdened, and I will give you rest. But what would this perfect rest in God actually look like? Well, the Amplified Bible gives us every possible translation of the word that was used at the time. And it's a lovely selection, look. By that word rest, Jesus is offering us relief, ease, refreshment, recreation, blessed quiet for your soul. Wow. That is a gift, isn't it? Blessed quiet for your soul. Complete and perfect rest. Jesus is offering us peace. A peace beyond understanding. He's offering us true and full rest. Not the rest of a nervous creature with half a brain awake, one eye open on the lookout for danger. No, he's offering to take away our burdens and come alongside us for support. He offers to be our ever-present help. So we can finally find our peace in him and truly rest. How wonderful that sounds. But then he goes and says an odd thing. He says, take my yoke on your shoulders. And I have to say, this sounds less good. We've just come to him for all this rest and refreshment and relief of burdens. But a yoke sounds like more like hard work, doesn't it? It sounds like it's going to be heavy. It sounds like it's going to be uncomfortable. It sounds much less good. When I think of a yoke, the first image that comes into my mind is this. It's a sort of image of like a milkmaid carrying really, really heavy buckets. And you can imagine the weight on her shoulders would really be quite intense. And she's carrying that all by herself. But that's not what Jesus meant. The sort of yoke people at his time would have been very used to was this sort of yoke. Let me see if I can get it in the middle for you. There you go. You see, it's across 2 oxen. They are sharing the load. Now that's a different kettle of fish altogether, isn't it? And Jesus is quick to assure us that although his yoke may appear heavy at first, it is perfectly fitted to the curves of our bodies. He says, "Learn from me. I am gentle and humble of heart." He says, "When you are yoked to me, your weary souls will find rest for you. My yoke is easy and my burden is light." But how can that be? Well, by allowing ourselves to be yoked to Jesus, there is a sharing of the load. Some of the weight is lifted from me. And of course, the bigger and the stronger ox is going to take more of the weight. If you look at that picture. And God is definitely far bigger and stronger than I am. So my share of the load is going to be far, far less. So yes, there is commitment. Jesus is asking us to yoke ourselves to him. But it is commitment to a better way of living. When we live in harmony with God's plan for our lives, our hearts are at peace. We are more comfortable when we live the lives that we are meant to live. We walk with God a good and straight path. He keeps us on track and he stops us from falling. He shares the load. So, can we trust God enough to give him what we carry? All our burdens, all our concerns? Can we trust God enough that whatever happens, we will be able to cope because he will strengthen us and sustain us and be right by our side all the way through it? Can we accept the true and full rest he offers? I hope so. It's a wonderful gift. I'm going to finish today with some more words from that additional reading for this Sunday from the Song of Songs. I would suggest that you just sit quietly for a moment. You may even want to close your eyes, but just imagine that God is saying these words to you. They're personally for you. My beloved speaks and says to me, "Arise, my love, my fair one, and come away. For now the winter is past, the rain is over and gone. The flowers appear on the earth, and the time of singing has come, and the voice of the turtle dove is heard in our land. The fig tree puts forth its figs, and the vines are in blossom, and they give forth fragrance. Arise, my love, my fair one, and come away." This is a beautiful invitation to be with God. This time of gradual easing of lockdown has coincided with spring and early summer, so the flowers are appearing on the earth, and it is a time of singing. We may not be singing in our churches yet, but that time will come. At the moment, the birds are singing louder than ever. Where will you meet God and find rest in him today? Amen.